Welcome to Detox Your Daily Habits, the show where we have raw and vulnerable conversations around spirituality, get real about how messy personal growth is, and bring to light the truths of how hard it is to break through your limiting beliefs in order to trust your higher self.
Hi guys, I hope you're doing well today.
Welcome back.
As always, it is episode 8.
Yeet.
I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm pretty excited about the fact that we're going to take a break for a little bit. Not because I want to, but because I feel as if we need some realignment in that area.
Realignment, reorganization. Well, organization at all.
Yeah, we really don't have any organization right now. And to be quite honest, we want to actually kind of take a whole month off social media and kind of focus on ourselves and our podcast and finding the best ways that we can spread our message to help more of you and hopefully grow our community even bigger.
Yes, when we first started this, it was okay, we've been talking about it, we'll just start situation. And now that we've kind of gotten a flow and a sense of things and really aligning more in the direction we want to go, we want to take a step back and honor that and redirect in a more productive way.
Yeah, absolutely. And also we just got new jobs and stuff, so trying to organize all of that on top of this it'll be good for us to take a step back for a moment. But now to get into the episode that we're going to talk about today, it's going to be all about patience and divine timing and the fact that wanting to control everything just isn't how this life works. So I'm just going to kind of explain to you a small story I was telling Danielle yesterday. And it was just that in the gym, when I go to the gym, sometimes I don't get service on my phone. Sometimes service is just bad there. I don't really quite know why. And usually when I just turn off my Wi-Fi, I can listen to music and it'll be fine. And it's usually just because it's trying to connect to Wi-Fi. Well, these past couple times I've been going to the gym, I cannot get my music to play. It'll play for a little bit and then out of nowhere it'll stop and then I can't hear music. And I find myself getting so freaking frustrated. I'm being super impatient and I'm telling myself in my head, okay, you're being impatient, just hold on, just take a deep breath, continue your workout. It's gonna play, just give it a second. But for some reason, even though I'm trying to calm my mind down and my head down and just work on what I need to be doing in the moment, it's very hard for me. I get so angry. It's frustrating angry to where I don't even want to do anything. I want to leave the gym. I'm impatient about, the music, and that's all I need, because in those moments for me, whenever I'm going to the gym or walking or whatever it is, I like to clear my headspace, as in not think 24/7. And so when there isn't music or white noise in the background, that's all my head is doing. And so yes, I'm getting super frustrated, and I stop and I ask myself, I'm seeing that I'm frustrated in this small instance in my life, so frustrated that I want to quit, that I want to go do something else. It's where do I display these actions elsewhere in my life? And to be quite honest, it's been my whole life. I personally am a very impatient person, and I don't think I'm the only one.
Nope.
I know there's many people out there who are also very impatient, and this is just a small instance, but I can take this back into many other instances in my life, like graduating college or starting my business. I wanted it right then, right there. If I was making 10K in a month after my first month, I didn't want to do it anymore. And I find that a lot of us are like this. Our generations are very quick to give up on things, even relationships, when things don't go our way. I'm not saying stay in a relationship that is crappy, but I'm saying, we're so quick to just want to throw the whole man or girl away whenever things aren't going right in the relationship. And I also feel oftentimes we don't realize it in the moment, because we're heated or we're frustrated or we're upset about something. And so quitting just seems like the easiest thing to do instead of dealing with our feelings in the moment. And so thankfully when I'm at the gym, I can dance with no music because no one can tell. Or I can, hit my weights even harder when I'm angry, or like add more weight or whatever it is for me. But in life, sometimes it's hard for us to even realize that we can do those things. Take a step back and realize that, I can just breathe here in this moment, and this moment will pass. And, looking back in 2 months, I'll be more proud of myself for the progress that I made rather than the progress that I stopped then and there, or the actions that I stopped. And I think a lot of it is about wanting to control the outcomes. We're so quick to want to control everything in our lives when, things just don't work out that way. Mm. It wasn't, I didn't stop the music on my phone. Like, the universe did, or, the gym did, whatever it is. It's like, I can't control that. But what I can control is how I react to the fact that the music stopped. And that's just like a small analogy for everything that you do in your life. You can't control how things go. Maybe your business, somehow you lost $5,000 in the first month, or somehow you lost 2 clients, or whatever it is. Now, you can't control that because those are other people. You can't control their actions or their outcomes, but what you can control is how you move forward from there.
Yes, absolutely. But we do live in a day and age where instant gratification is everything. And it's in this, most of the videos we watch are barely even a minute long. Like, we're very quick to just jump to the next thing and get on to the next. And like, we want everything right here, right now. We want overnight success. We want overnight, but I do the same thing with fitness. I think we can all relate to working out and eating healthy for a week and then being like, okay, well, now what? Because nothing's changed. When it takes months, it takes years even sometimes to get some of these results. But we are fed through everything that instantly we should get it. Instantly we should have this. Instantly you should be able to manifest this. Instantly you should be able to heal this trauma. And it just like, life doesn't work that way. That was that old saying, good things take time, or whatever people used to say, but they do. They take time and patience, which is something I struggle with as well. I don't have patience, which is why I start new hobbies all the time and quit within a week because I don't have it down. Oh, I must not be good at it because I don't have it down right here, right now after 2 dance moves. Like, I don't know how many TikTok dances I've started, and because I didn't get it within 10 minutes, I'm like, well, nope, can't do this, gotta move on. And it's like, it takes more time, bitch. Slow down. Have some patience. Give yourself time to learn. Give yourself time to adjust. Give yourself time to just get a workout in, even if the music stops. Working out is a form of meditation. You can clear your head by just hitting the workout and only focusing on that. But we want what we want when we want it, and we don't get it. It causes frustration. I know I get extremely frustrated very quickly in situations like that, and especially when it comes to my workouts, I'm the same way. If I'm not watching something, listening to something, or have something else to distract me, it's like, well, what? I can't just work out.
Yeah, like what? Can't just do that. The thing is too, it's like oftentimes when we try new hobbies, like Danielle was explaining, well, for me, myself, and I'm sure for Danielle as well, it's like, we personally do this thing where it's like, oh, it's not perfect. Oh, I expected it to be perfect in the first 2 tries. Oh, then I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And that I will say that I'm very proud of us for starting this podcast, because although we know it hasn't been perfect, we're still pushing, and I salute us for that.
Absolutely. And there's been many days where one of us or both of us feel like, well, we have nothing valuable to say, or we have nothing to give, or what are we going to talk about? And then it never fails that at least one person reaches back and like that helped them in some way. So like, sometimes you got to give yourself a break. Well, all the time, give yourself a break, especially if you're any personality type like Dakota's and I, especially Dakota. She's a perfectionist, and we don't give ourselves enough room to be imperfect, because imperfection helps people. Perfection does not relate to others. People don't relate to that because no one is.
Mm-hmm. And it's very like quick to say this, but like I feel like we always say this is what I'm saying, but it comes back to social media. Like, social media is great in a lot of aspects, don't get me wrong, but like we're so quick to see the transformations in someone's body, that they did a year ago versus like today. And then we're so quick to be like, oh, they did it in the amount of time, I can too. And when it doesn't happen, maybe it's 6 months or 3 months. And whenever it doesn't happen, we're like, oh, we must be doing something wrong. Let's just quit. Like, it's very hard when you're constantly comparing yourself when the only life that matters is your own. And the only life that you should be focusing on is the life that you get to live. And I find that like taking this step back from social media that we're about to take is going to help us, because not only will we like stop comparing and stop focusing on everyone else's life, we will start focusing more on ours, doing the things that we want to do, imperfect, like not perfect, you know, like doing, like I just started dancing the other day. I started picking up dance again, dancing in new forms that I really haven't. And yesterday I started whacking, and like I was looking at myself and I was like, oh no, like how do I don't look like that. What am I supposed to be doing? And then then I started to like let go of, you know, trying to be perfect in the moment. And the more I put my rhythm and my acts into it and just being silly, I started to like myself so much more, like in the mirror. Like, it's just about stepping in and owning your power, but understanding that you can't control every aspect of your life as well. And it's all in divine timing too.
Yeah, and with the control is so hard for me. After a lot of the inner work and work I've done, I know that it stems from my childhood and feeling out of control in a lot of areas of my life, and knowing that there's deep-rooted trauma in there that I have to work through, and that's why I feel the need to control every single aspect of my life. But the thing about it is, especially in the realm of spirituality, and we all talk about how you create your own reality, which is true, but we are co-creators. We aren't in here doing it all on our own. Like, the universe is conspiring with us on their time. You can't force the things you want when you want them. As much as we all fucking wish we could, I know I sure do, it comes with timing, which is what we call divine timing. And it's like, you can't see it now, but you're either not ready in this moment, or you have more to learn before you can achieve what you want, or that's not meant for you, something better is coming your way. Now, all of that is something we can't see physically or pinpoint, okay, well, it's not coming here, but it's coming on October 3rd, 2024. Like, we don't have that to look forward to, but I know that can, personally speaking, if I'm not getting it right now, I go into this mentality that, oh, guess I'm never going to have it. And sometimes I go down those dark paths where I'm like, well, it must not be meant for me. But in reality, it might still be, just not at this exact moment that I want it. And in our society, like we've said before, it's just, we want instant gratification. We want that 10K in our bank account this month, this first month of business, when that doesn't work out for everybody. Some people might have a story like that. A lot of people don't. And I was listening to a podcast the other day. They were talking about how LaCroix, those drinks, the seltzer waters, how they've been in business for 30 years. And like, they're just now popular.
Yeah, like, I feel like in the last probably 5 years.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? But they've been around for years. 30, that's a long fucking time. And they're popping now. So it's like, we really truly don't know. And I read a book, Jamie Lee Kern, I want to say. I'm probably butchering that, but it's called Believe It. And she's the creator of It Cosmetics. And this girl spent 6 years being told no by all these major brands. And here recently, she sold her company for $1 billion to L'Oreal. All on her own. Like, she didn't have investors, because you read the book, it's great. It's a great story on really believing in yourself and sticking to it even when the whole world's telling you no. But she had to do it the way she did for her divine timing, for her to make all that money, for her to get her dream out there. And she stuck to her guns in every, she stayed really in alignment with her mission and her goal. But had she wanted instant gratification, then she would have given up years prior and would not be living the life she is now. Would not be as in alignment as she is now, because she would have given up, because there was no instant gratification for her at all. But, people will tell you that she's an overnight success when that's not the truth. And so we really don't think about those things. All we see are the before. Okay, she started this company in her living room and now she's a billionaire. But there's so much in between there. Mm-hmm. But that's not what we see. That's not what social media portrays. That's not what the world doesn't tell you. Like, you may get this in 8 to 10 years. They say you can manifest this overnight, basically. Like, and that's just not.
It's not for truth.
It would be really fucking cool if we all had a genie that could do some shit like that and we could all just snap our fingers and get every fucking thing we wanted. But that's just, sadly for all of us, I report to you that that's just not true.
And to be quite honest, I don't think it'd be safe if it was. Imagine everyone wishing for something outrageous, then it'd just be bad.
And, I'm sure many of us have stories where we wanted something really fucking bad and then never got it. And years later, you look back and you're like, damn, I'm fucking glad. There's a lot of tattoos I'd have right now that looking back, I'm like, man, glad I didn't just balls to the walls that, because that's not in alignment with who I am now.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
So it's like one of those things that we really just, patience is a virtue. But it is.
It really is. And honestly, guys, the good thing, though, that, like, those dreams that you find to be scary or outrageous, that seem that are going to take 10 years or however many years of your life, but you want to do it, and sometimes you get frustrated and you feel like you want to give up. Those things that you truly want are meant to be for you. The universe, you signed your soul contract for that thing. Do not give up on yourself. And anything you want, the universe is going to try and give it to you, but you have to put forth that action. Like Danielle was saying, it's a co-creation process. The universe is going to give you what you want and what is meant for you, as long as you put that action towards whatever it is that you want. It's not just going to be a one-sided thing where you say you write in your notebook every day that, thank you, universe, for the 10 grand I have in my bank account, but what are you doing for that 10 grand? Thank you, universe, for, manifesting my dream person, my partner, my lover, when you're not even doing inner work and trying to heal yourself in order to have that person in your life. You have to do the work in order to receive whatever it is that you were meant to receive. And even through the hard shit, even through the spiritual work that you have to do, spiritual work is inner work. It's not any of the woo-woo shit. The woo-woo shit is part of it too, don't get me wrong, but like, it's really about this personal inner growth that you do. And if you're not doing that inner work, the inner loving and understanding your demons and still loving yourself for it and forgiving yourself for it, you're not going to receive the things that you so eagerly want. So take a step back, reevaluate, and surrender to the things that you cannot control. Step into your power by doing and taking action in the directions that you're supposed to be taking action in. And, you will gain those things that you want over time, but please, please, please don't give up. And if you need someone, and if you need help, if you need someone to reach out to, come to us. We're here for you.
That was the whole point of building this community, was because we understand and are going through the same things you are, the same doubts, the same frustrations, the same fears, a lot of the same shit, like in different elements, but it's all very similar. And that's, Dakota and I are able to do a lot because we are each other's accountability buddies in this situation, where we're able to kind of work through some of this stuff and have someone to bounce it off of. And like, it takes a village. Life was meant to live in community. We were meant to live in community, in villages, in times where we come together in our times of need. And our society has gone so far off the tracks from that we are so isolating of ourselves, and it is doing all of us a disservice. And so reach out, find people that you can trust, find people that are growing in the same ways you are, and be patient with that too. Maybe you don't have a group of people right now, but be patient with it. Your people will come. You will manifest the right group.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally believe in that. And and if you're listening to this podcast, I believe it's only going to get bigger, and there's going to be more people to like connect with. But I'm sure right now, if you go through our follower count or like see who's following us or see who interacts on our stuff, there's someone right then and there that like can resonate with you if you don't feel like connecting with Danielle and I, you know. There's someone, I promise, that can hear you out right now. Especially us. We definitely are here.
We definitely are here for y'all.
Mm-hmm. And one of the last things I just want to read to you is like from the book The Alchemist. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but it's kind of funny about this book because did I explain this last time? I don't know. But this book has been popping up in my life over and over again, same with Danielle. And I got my hands on one from a friend, so that was even more coincidence. But not coincidence, I think the universe really wants me to read it.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to read these small portions to you that kind of touched my heart, and I feel that can help some of you. So let me just kind of sum up where I am. This boy, he's a man though, he's talking to another man that he met like in a park or like in a field, something like that, and he is giving him pretty much life advice. And so I'm just going to read this portion to you. The older man is talking to the younger man. Because at that point in their lives, everything is clear and everything is possible. They are not afraid to dream and to yearn for everything they would like to see happen to them in their lives. But as time passes, mysterious forces begin to convince them that it will not be possible for them to realize their personal legend. Now, in this portion, he's talking about the fact that us as younger kids, we grow up with these big dreams and, you know, we want to accomplish them. Then we get to a point in our lives where something is telling us that we can't accomplish that anymore because, you know, it's just not possible. Which isn't true because we are born with these personal legends, and normally whatever you're born with, whatever you feel you should be doing as a child is something that you should be incorporating as an adult. And I won't say for everyone, but I do feel it is a big aspect of who you are. As a child, you know, you're free. You're free to express and do all these things that you want to do without judgment or without worrying of judgment. But then we get to this point where like that's almost all we worry about, and so we stop believing in ourselves. And so he goes on to say that whoever you are or whatever it is that you do, when you really want something, it's because the desire originated in the soul of the universe. It's your mission on earth. So then he goes to say that that he's pointing across this wherever they are. They're like in field, but they can see their town. And he's pointing across to this baker, and he's telling him that this baker, he wants to travel. I'm going to read this portion to you. And he's talking about the baker. When he was a child, that man wanted to travel too, but he decided first to buy his bakery and put some money aside. When he's an old man, he's going to spend a month in Africa. He never realized that people were capable at any time in their lives of doing what they dream of. And that hit me hard because I feel like a lot of time I'm like, I need to do A, B, and C before I can accomplish the thing I want. When truthfully, in any given moment, you can be doing that thing that you want to be doing. And maybe it's not, you know, to the extent that you want to be doing it, but you in some extent you can be doing it. Maybe it's incorporating it in your daily life if it's dance. Maybe it's you want to be a professional singer. You can sing every day or sing, you know, do something that's going to help you get there. It's doing the small things in your life in order to create that quantum leap so that you do get there. And for this instance, because this is something that I also want to do, and I have said to myself is, my next step in my life is I really want to travel. And I'm over here like, oh no, I can't travel until I have all this money saved up in my bank account. But I know people who have done it less. I know people who have done it with more debt. I know more people who have done it with less of the means that I have. So why can't I do it now? It's because internally I don't believe I can. So once I start believing, then I will start receiving, in a sense, you know. He also goes to say, and this hit me hard too. He goes, he should have decided to become a shepherd. That younger man is a shepherd. He travels all the time. And shepherds are seen in this lifetime, or I guess in general, I'm not too sure, not to be very, not to have a lot of money. They are like, they travel a lot. They aren't upper class, like, I guess like a baker in a sense. And so he says he should have decided to become a shepherd, the boy said. Well, he thought about that, the old man said. But the baker But bakers are more important people than shepherds. Bakers have homes, while shepherds sleep out in the open. Parents would rather see their children marry bakers than shepherds. And he continues to say, in the long run, what people think about shepherds and bakers becomes more important for them than their own personal legends. And that hit me hard because a lot of us feel as if, we need to accomplish A, B, and C to look like we have it in order to eventually get the part, and eventually live the life that we dream of. But up here he says, because he's God, this older man is actually God. He tells him that, that he saves up all this money and he has this bakery and he does all of this just to travel for 1 month out of his fucking life and go to Africa. But he wanted his whole life to travel, and so he set that aside because he felt he needed, approval from others and, validation from others to seem as if his life was great, when internally he probably wanted to be traveling his whole life. And I just kind of want you to take this in, because it's a lot, but to realize that, yes, being impatient is, something that we all struggle with, but also realize when you're being impatient and when you're going off the wrong track, or, understand that patience is a virtue. So, go after what you want, even though it seems scary or like the long road, or for instance, if this man would have picked up and went and traveled instead of starting his own business doing a bakery, he maybe have gone through hardships. Okay, I'm going to use me personally because this is what I'm afraid of. I'm just going to be open and vulnerable here. I'm afraid that if I travel alone, I won't know what to do, where to go. I'll be alone. Will I be scared? Will someone rob me? Or I'm thinking of all these negative aspects, but if it's something my heart desires, my soul desires, then it's meant to be in my life. And I should be going after it, even if it scares me shitless. And that can be said with a lot of other things in my life too, but be patient with yourselves, but go after the things that you want. Otherwise, the action won't be created into your life. And I find that to be kind of hard-hitting because I am still struggling with that personally.
Yeah, no, it is. And, we do also tend to jump to all the negative things that could happen first and just ride those out instead of the opposite.
So we take the logical route instead.
Yeah, and especially when the opposite of that would be thinking of all the positive things that could come from it and riding those out instead. But it's hard. It's not going to not honor the fact that all of these things and thought processes are difficult and they take some rewiring and some constant, I know for me, I constantly have to be all right, take a step back, slow down, ask yourself some questions. So many questions all the time. But really, if you're being impatient with something, ask yourself why. Why do you need this right here, right now? Is it jealousy because someone else has it? A comparison game because someone else already has it and you want it right now? Or is it fear or security? What are your reasonings for needing what you need in this exact moment? A lot of times with my own answers to that is usually it comes from comparing myself to somebody else and how they already have it, how they already get to do these things that I've been wanting to do. When our realities are totally different. The steps I've taken in my life led me here for a reason. The steps that person took in their life led them there at that timing for a reason. For example, I know right now we're signing a new lease here, and it wasn't, not that we all love each other in this house, it's a great living situation, but we had different plans. But timing and life didn't add up to that, and so even this morning I was like, maybe there's a reason behind, I know there's a reason behind it. Maybe Dakota and I need another year of setting this podcast while we're in the same household, while we're still in the same doing things, maybe we need more learning from each other because your friendships and relationships teach you the most about yourself. So living in a house with my best friend and my boyfriend, I'm learning a lot about myself. And, there's always something that's playing out in the 5D world that we won't see it in the 3D world, that we need the piece of the puzzle we think we're missing. And that's where it comes with blind faith and surrendering yourself and being trustworthy of the process.
And open to all possibilities. I think being open is definitely important because maybe, you know, maybe something bad goes. Maybe something bad goes wrong, right? Maybe it goes wrong. But how you pick yourself back up and continue to push says a lot about you too.
Yeah, life isn't really about what happens to you, but how you react to those moments.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we all just, it's a learning game and a learning process for everyone every step of the way. No one has everything figured out.
Ever. Actually.
Yeah, like, never ever does anyone have it all figured out. And if they do have something figured out that works for them, that same thing might not fucking work for you. And that's the fucking shit show in it all, because, like, you really can't, you can learn from other people, obviously, but you can't take it all in and be like, well, that path is mine because it worked for them. I want it now because this person was, we use dances a lot, but we all can relate to dance on here. So, like, that person has been dancing for this long and they are this good, but I've been dancing for longer and I still can't do that move. Like, well, different talents, different things, different styles, you know, people learn differently. People receive differently. Life is just, it's not fair in that game that is everything should be happening the way you see it happen for someone else in that timeline. Because all of our timelines are different. Even Dakota and I's, you know, like.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Danielle's ready to pretty much have a family soon, and I'm nowhere near that. That's just one instance. But, you know, there's a lot of different things that, even though Danielle and I are so close and maybe seem like we're so much alike, we are very different people living very different lives.
But that's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's everyone. Just like if you grow up in, if you have siblings, they had a different reality growing up than you did, which is always a mind fuck, you know. Like, I think about my siblings and my experience was 100% different than theirs. And that just goes to show, like, no matter how close you are with someone in the realm, we all have our own paths. We all have our own experience, our own perception, our own reality. And so you have to be patient with yourself and with the process, with it all, because what you want really is coming, whether it be yes right now, yes but not right now, or no something better situation. Which is, you know, like Dakota and I've said, I struggle with surrender the most, and surrendering to the universe and its plan and its path and its timing, because I'm very much a right here, right now, or it must not be happening person. And I've been working through that one really hard, and working through letting go of control. Living with other people is definitely one of those things that, you know, learning how to let go of control of every little aspect has been the full-blown learning process. And I constantly tell Dakota that I feel like a lot of my lessons lead me back to this control game, to just let go and surrender to the universe and the plan and the powers that be.
Yeah, something I constantly tell myself when things don't go my way is, like, the things I'll say is, like, A, it is not a reflection of me if it's someone else's doing, and B, it is what it is. I cannot go back and change it. It already happened. I might as well just move forward, right? It's like your only option. You literally cannot change what has already happened. Let it go.
Yes, it is what it is becoming one of, like, my biggest things that I say to myself too, because really, like, especially my new job at the restaurant I'm working at, like, Dakota and I are having totally different experiences with our new jobs, and I'm over here trying to compare, well, it's popping for her right now, why isn't it popping for me right away? And, like, again, I'm at work and I literally have to just be like, look, it is what it is. Everything's coming. Everything's working out the way it needs to. But it's very difficult for me, and I get very frustrated with myself. I honor the fact that it's usually me making all this frustration up in my head for myself because of my own timeline or my own thought process. Well, I need it by this time, when the universe is like, actually, it's all on my time.
For real, though.
So don't get discouraged and don't feel like you're not some spiritual being or you're not some woke person because you get really frustrated easily or you're crying because you wanted it now and it's not happening. That's part of it. Like, honestly, I struggle every day. It's a growing process every day with learning about yourself and learning your traumas and your patterns and learning how to let go of control. It's a day-by-day situation here.
Yeah, for real though. I mean, and sometimes, just going back to what she said, like, sometimes when I'm getting super frustrated, like I did the other day in the gym, I'm like, damn, am I like not woke enough or what? Like, what's going on here? Why am I so frustrated over the fucking music that won't play? Like, and it's just a part of life. And that small lesson showed me the giant lesson of me realizing that I'm doing it in other portions of my life too. I do it with the podcast, to be quite honest. I'm like, we're losing listeners or like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's all in divine timing. And as long as we can continue to be consistent, things will show up for us. And we just got to kind of organize a little bit. But other than that.
But that, again, trusting the process and trusting, like, if we hadn't started the podcast when we did, who's to say we would have ever? Who's to say we would have ever gotten?
Yeah, we were already... We had sitting on this idea for
months. In October, we had talked about it and wrote down all these things, and we even wrote down people we wanted to interview. Which, mind you, I look back at that list and I don't even know like what kind of direction we were going. That's such an odd group of people on there, but the fact is that we were making all these plans that we never put action behind.
Mm-hmm.
And now when we finally did start, we put action behind it and we've continued to do so. And now we're in a point where we want to pivot and realign and dive deeper into it and allow ourselves room to really focus on it. And that's part of trusting the process. We trusted the process of just starting. And now we're going to trust the process again for the next season and just kind of be patient with it and nurture it until it grows to what we envision it. And that is kind of how it's supposed to go with everything we do, especially the big dreams and visions we have on our hearts. Everyone's got one, and when you think about it, it just takes time, putting forth some action towards it, and knowing that if you want to go fast, go slow, as Alyssa would always say. All year long, that's the one thing that my mentor has been in my head all day. And like, I've had different areas of figuring out what that even means. If you want to go fast, go slow. The first time I heard it, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? But over the past like few months, it's popped up in my head multiple times where I'm like, man, she's onto something there. Mm-hmm. If you want to go fast, go slow, because it gives you time. And like, things that last are not overnight sensations.
No, and you don't stop them after you get that goal or obtain that
thing
that you want.
Yeah. If you've ever lost a significant amount of weight and then feeling yourself, and then you stop all your shit, and then all of a sudden you're gaining weight back, that's because you just got to that point and called it. And that's why fad diets don't work either, because you can't lose a shit ton of weight fast and just go about your business like you were before. Same thing with life. You gotta just kind of take it slow, take it easy, trust what's happening, and know that it's not going to happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight for anybody. There's always a story behind it that they're not showing or telling.
Mm-hmm. But first, before all of that, believe in yourself. Believe that you can accomplish that thing that you want so badly. Believe that you can manifest the things that you want. Something that I just recently learned really quick in Manifestation Babe is that whenever we create these goals or these intentions for our lives, manifestations. Say if you want to make 100K, right? Just say you want to make 100K in the next 3 years. Okay, just use that. And the first thing you need to do is climb up the next step. Which is the next step on the ladder, or if you want to visualize like actual steps. But she had us write this down. So the next step would be, what would your next step be? Like, how much are you making now? Say if you're making $2,000 this month. What is the next step that you believe that you can accomplish in the next month? Maybe it's $5,000. And then you just keep going up and up and up. And before you know it, your numbers are going to get wider and longer in between, or, your goals are going to get longer in between, but like quicker, if that makes sense. So it'll go from like 30,000 to like 60,000. You have more room in between that, but you start to believe in yourself the closer you look at your goals. And instead of looking at big picture vision, maybe look, what's my next step? What step can I take in order to receive and take action in the next thing in my life to get that thing that I want to manifest so deeply? Maybe it's, for me, it's to be traveling, to a whole bunch of countries. So what's my next step? Okay, well, maybe my next step is saving up $5,000 so that I can go to wherever I want to go, somewhere in the US, right? Or whatever it is. Those are just instances. But, instead of looking at big picture, so you're not scaring yourself, look at the next step for yourself. And just believe that you can accomplish it, because you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to.
Absolutely. And if it's not happening as fast as you want it, keep pushing, because time will tell all. And what's meant for you will always be yours.
Absolutely.
Well. I think that's all we got for y'all today.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, and like we always say, we are forever grateful for you guys.
Yes, honestly, y'all are the best.
You really are.
Always showing the love. And if you like this episode, share it, save it, send it. Let us know how you feel. We love your feedback. We love anything else. If y'all have, we're still going to be active in the community while we're gone. Just if you have any ideas for next season, if you have any ideas for episodes or things, conversations you want to have, let's hear it. Let's talk about it. We'll do our best to check in on the page on our little social media break and make sure that we stay in alignment with what you guys want to hear and what you guys have on your hearts as well.
Mm-hmm. You can always send us an email too. I think our email is set up, and if it's not, I'll set it up. But you can send us an email so that we don't have to completely be on social media during this time. But also, I'm sure we will check back here and there. I wanted to add that we have 2 episodes left this season.
Yep.
And so please, if there's or there's something that you really want to talk about, and you want it now, stop being impatient, just kidding. But you want it very soon, you think it'll help you, please let us know so that we can make these last 2 episodes revolve around that thing that you are truly needing, because you're not the only one. And I'm sure you're not the only one.
Absolutely, guys. We hope y'all have a beautiful day.
Yes, beautiful rest of your weeks.
Yeah, and we'll see y'all next time.
Mm-hmm. Bye. Thank you for listening and being part of this process. We are so grateful to have you guys alongside this journey with us. If you resonated with this episode, please share it on your platforms and tag us at Detox Your Habits. We would love to hear your insight and any downloads you received when listening today. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave a review letting us know what you'd like to hear next.